Hey Kerwin, how can I build my brand while still helping others along the way?
Wow, like that to me is the most, gosh, I hate to sound condescending, but that to me is the most obvious answer. The way that you build a brand in 2018 is by helping people. You know, because branding once upon a time was just putting your brand out there. That to me is the old school branding. For a lot of companies that have massive multi-billion-dollar budgets, that's actually, you know, a branding strategy that should be a part of the mix. But when you're, when you're a small to medium-sized business player, you know, in an age where the dominant media is social, you know, you're playing with Instagram, you're playing with Facebook, you're playing with LinkedIn, you're playing with YouTube, you've got to understand, you know, attention is what builds brands. Producing information, producing content, producing media, that number one garners attention, but then number two creates the right form of association. Branding in the social age for me, it really is about helping people. It's like, how do I create and construct content that I deliver to my market that speaks directly to them? You want to be producing content that is of utility nature, whereby that content by design is going to provide some form of a value. And by them seeing value in what it is that you're producing, you're going to have their attention and they're going to be watching it. By virtue of their watching your video and they can see the name of the page that they're watching the video on, you know, that's a level of branding, you know. And then you start getting into the production branding side of things, where you start, you know, creating a style and a look and a feel to your content that every time people see that type of video, they go, well, I know that's Kerwin's video, because that's the type and the style. And you can start introducing branding through, you know, intros and branding through outros and branding through personality, you know, because personal brands are a huge part of branding in the 21st century. Fuck, I sound like an old person when I say that. The equity in any brand is the association that that brand has with the market that it is familiar with it. Because if you build up positive equity over a period of time, then that really primes people for DR. You know, direct response is all about making the sale. How do I go straight for the jugular? How do I get this person straight into bed? Whereas branding is more about the understanding of building value over time, building value over time through the distribution and the delivery of really high value content that creates this relationship. You want your customers to buy. Anytime they think of you, your product or service, and they want to buy, the first thing they think of is you. They don't need a direct response piece of content to be put in front of them. And the way that you create that kind of top of mind awareness is by, you know, publishing content on a regular basis and making sure that you're attacking all different forms of media, all different forms of format. And most importantly, doing it with the perspective of, I'm going to create content that is of service. And I think this is the challenge that a lot of people have. They think that the more they solve people's problems through their marketing, then the less attractive they're going to be. But what we've discovered, you know, at a very high level with our business is the more we help people, the more demand and the more desire we create for people to actually want to just throw money at us. And whenever you create a high level of brand demand, you know, people will go to any extent in order to get access to the products and services. What is it that drives that kind of behavior? And it's desire. And what is it that drives that desire? Well, it's a connection and an association between what that product is and what that product gives you. And your media is the bridge. And the more content you publish and the more content you put out there, the stronger that bridge becomes, until all of a sudden, you know, you don't have a bridge, you have this super highway of connection between you and your audience, whereby the moment they think of you and the moment they consider buying your products and services, they don't need a direct response piece of content and put in front of them. They just immediately respond and they want to buy by virtue of the branding that has been done. The net effect of branding is, what is the association that people have when they look at your brand? To me, you can't brand in this day and age without helping people if you're going to be doing it at a high level. And by the way, branding will make direct response a lot more impactful and give you a much stronger ROI by virtue of creating that positive sentiment to a point where some people might need to have a direct response piece of content put in front of them in order to respond and want to do business with you and buy your products and services. But you can't do one without the other, in my opinion, in this day and age, if you're wanting to do it effectively. That was a fucking great question.
That's like branding, and then like...
That's like branding 101. That's it. I can go home now.